Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Wisconsin.
We welcome you from Milwaukee, where they drive very fast. They're trying to get to Miller Park. It's the Cubs and the Brewers tonight. Roof is all closed up on a cool Saturday night. And the Brewers, their second to last game of the season. Cubs are moving on. They're going into the postseason. But the Brewers trying to pick up a few more wins on the way out. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us tonight. I'm Brian Anderson, along with Bill Schroeder. Our reporter tonight is Sophia Minard. We like to call this the penultimate game of the season, which means next to last game. And we've started to look at a couple of guys on the Brewers roster. And one guy that stands out more than any right now is Chris Davis. I'm not sure in Brewers franchise history if we've had a guy who has salvaged the season like Chris Davis.
Yeah, before the beginning of August, Chris Davis wasn't getting any playing time. He got hurt, and you never know. He might have been a couple of games from getting sent down to AAA. Well, when he started playing every day, 20 home runs for him. He started the month of August with 7 home runs is all. He has shown that he needs to play every day and needs to improve in left field enough to warrant playing every day. But certainly when he is in there, he shows power. I mean, not just home run power, but big power. He's one of the big sluggers for the Brewers, and hopefully he's going to be able to continue that into next season. So Chris Davis, certainly one of those guys that have taken advantage of playing time since the trading deadline.
Think about all those sluggers around Major League Baseball. Not one of them has hit more homers since August 6th than Chris Davis. 20 bombs since that date. His at-bats per home run, 8.85. That is a ridiculous rate of home runs. So Davis is back in there. Wouldn't put it past him to hit 30. He's got 3 to go. Tyler Wagner's on the mound. It'll be his final start. Had a great year in Double-A. Craig and Aukie will break it down right after this.
Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs.
By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Back here at Miller Park, Tyler Wagner on the hill for Milwaukee. Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs. 2 starts against the Brewers this year. Hendricks has only given up 1 run as he looks for win number 8 on the season for Chicago. Hi, everybody. Craig and Augie with you now before first pitch here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And Augie, take a look at this Brewer roster. Tyler Wagner, one of 12 Brewers to make their major league debut this year. And this kid, we got to remember, he's still young, a 2A pitcher right now. He was an all-star there and trying to win here today for the Brew Crew.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. When you look at what he has to do tonight, he has to go out and really he has to pitch to his strength. And that's that 2-seam fastball and using that slider. Being effective, get it in the strike zone. Then that 4-seam fastball and that changeup is going to be much more effective. Secondly, he's got to trust his stuff. When you trust your stuff, you pitch ahead, you pitch a contact, good things happen. Get ahead of hitters. Very important tonight. And lastly, you know what? You have to relax, enjoy. You're getting an opportunity to pitch against a playoff team. It's the last start of the season. Relax, enjoy, pitch 1 inning at a time.
All right, Wagner trying to get that first big league win. We'll see if the Brewers can even up the series here this weekend and put a dent in the Cubs' playoff plans. We got first pitch, lineups, all kinds of good stuff with B and Rock coming up next.
Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Roof is closed up on a cool, windy night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's got that touch of fall in the air, right? 54 degrees for first pitch here tonight, but it is very comfortable inside Miller Park. Joe Maddon and the Chicago Cubs for game 2 of the series. The Cubs have dominated this series thus far against Milwaukee. Chicago is 12-5 this year. Here's Madden's lineup. It's brought to you by Potawatomi. Dexter Fowler, Kyle Schwarber, and Chris Bryant at the top. Anthony Rizzo, Starlin Castro, Chris Coughlin in the middle with Addison Russell, David Ross, and Kyle Hendricks rounding it out. Ross normally in there when Lester's on the mound, but he gets the start tonight. And on the mound rock for the Brewers is Tyler Wagner, who's coming off a spectacular season at Double-A, was the ERA champ in the Southern League this year.
Yeah, 225 earned run average down in Double-A, 11-5 record. Had 130 hits allowed in 152 2/3 innings. That is a tremendous season. 25 starts for him. Third start in the big leagues. Last time out, took a 5-1 loss to the St. Louis Cardinals at Busch Stadium. 4 innings, 5 runs. Let's check out the Menards Brewers defense for tonight. And Davis, Santana, and Peterson in the outfield. Perez, Segura, Jeanette up the middle. Adam Linden first, and Martin Maldonado gets a start behind home plate. Shane Peterson making his 5th start out in right field.
I've seen Peterson bounce around a little bit. Center field, left field, right field. Home plate umpire Adam Hamari, one of the bright young umpiring stars coming up. There is Angel Hernandez. Chris Conroy's the second base umpire, and the crew chief is Ted Barrett, who was the crew chief at the World Series last year. He's one of the best. All right, here we go. Underway at Miller Park. We've got Dexter Fowler leading off. Tyler Wagner is on the mound. The Brewers have one last game tomorrow before they close the doors at Miller Park until next April. A symbolic closing of the doors. They'll still be open most of the year. First pitch on the way is a little bit low, and off we go. Cubs won last night, and they have owned this season series thus far. Cubs are postseason bound. They still have a chance to catch the Pirates, but the Cubs have to win today and tomorrow. The Pirates have to lose today and tomorrow. The Cubs do own the tiebreaker. There's a line shot back up the middle, and you can hear there are a lot of Cubs fans here, and why not? This is a very good ball club. Joe Maddon's got this team 95-65, 30 games over, Rock. I don't think anybody expected that when we saw them this spring.
Yeah, and they've got some big time contributions out of their rookies, and Joe Maddon has no intention of taking a foot off the gas. He's not going to be starting to rest guys because he can still get that home field advantage in that wild card game. You know, if they win a couple and the Pirates lose a couple. And Anthony Rizzo right in the middle of all the damage. Anthony Rizzo has destroyed Brewers pitching this year. Brewers are only 5-12 against Chicago this year.
And Rizzo has been a big part of most of those wins. He was a big part of last night's win as well. Rizzo hit a 2-run home run. He drove in 3 last night. Kyle Schwarber back in there. Cubs have a switch hitter in Fowler and then 3 lefties in their lineup. But Rizzo is the only left-hander that will play every day as they get into the postseason. If they do advance into the division series, Rizzo is the only mainstay, meaning he'll face left-handed starters. Schwarber off the end of the bat. Davis coming in, and he's got it for the out. And the first out for Tyler Wagner.
Yeah, Wagner, a control pitcher. He sinks it. He'll cut it. He's got a good changeup. He's going to have to get ahead in the count. I mean, just basic stuff. Get ahead in the count. Keep the baseball down. And he's going to be able to. He's going to have to be able to work down in the corners to keep this high-powered offense at bay tonight.
And he will face the Rookie of the Year in the National League. It's a runaway train, Chris Bryant. So interesting for Tyler Wagner, I'm sure, to face a guy like Bryant. Wagner making it to the big leagues for the first time. Chance to turn 2. Low throw. Dug out by Jeanette. And a throw to first, not in time.
Yeah, good play by Scooter. Could have been a disaster out there at second base. That ball gets into center field. Brewers have big problems. And Wagner tried to be a little bit too quick with it. Right off the end of the bat. A good breaking pitch from Wagner. Bad throw, but Scooter saves him at second base.
Now Bryant swinging away at the first pitch. If you don't know the story, Wagner is from Las Vegas, and he and Chris Bryant were actually teammates back in his amateur days, his middle school days, and Chris Bryant's dad was the coach. Bryce Harper came through that program. Chris Bryant, Tyler Wagner, Joey Gallo. Man,
nice
talk
team.
about a powerhouse. Yeah, all these guys were 11 and 12 years old. Bryce Harper was on that team as a 9-year-old. And so Harper is going to be the MVP this year, it looks like. Bryant's going to be the Rookie of the Year, and now Wagner just getting his major league career started this season.
Yep, won an ERA title down in Double-A. Pretty good talent on that ball club back in the old days. Not that long ago, I guess.
24-year-old Tyler Wagner facing Rizzo here with 2 away. Wagner from Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, same high school that produced Marty Cordova, former big leaguer, and he was a closer in college. Interestingly enough, he pitched at Utah, pitched for the Utes, was a closer. The Brewers drafted him in the 4th round of 2012, and he started his trek that season. Jam shot to Rizzo, and that's out to Jeanette, and that'll be the first inning. So a scoreless start for Tyler Wagner. Bottom of the first coming. The Brewers are coming to bat. Presented by your Metro Milwaukee Honda dealers. Brewers coming to bat. Cubs failed to score in the first despite a leadoff single. And now Scooter Gennett ready to lead off once again. Gennett, Segura, and Lind at the top. Davis, Santana, Shane Peterson in the middle of the council's order. And then it's Perez, Maldonado, and Wagner rounding out the Potawatomi 9 for the Brew Crew. And on the mound for the Chicago Cubs is Kyle Hendricks. And it will be his final tune-up, what he hopes will be a starting nod in the postseason if the Cubs make it to the division series.
Yeah, the first 2 spots in that rotation pretty much set with Lester and Arrieta. Arrieta pitched in yesterday's ball game, but Hendricks making his 4th start this year against the Brewers. He's got a win, a loss, and a no decision. The loss came back on September 23rd, not that long ago, a 4-1 loss at Wrigley Field.
A command pitcher. He works fast. He has good stuff, not overpowering stuff, but has good command of everything he throws. And he is a thinking man's pitcher. Ivy Leaguer from Dartmouth. Hendricks, his 2nd year in the big leagues, as Scooter Gennett takes a ball away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Scooter's had a lot of success here lately, leading off games. Matter of fact, his last 9 starts, he has 7 hits in those 9 starts.
Yeah, including yesterday against Arrieta. He likes that leadoff spot. You can see Hendricks trying to work in that changeup. He's got a good one. Yeah, fastball, a cutter. A lot of changeups to lefties.
2 balls, 1 strike to the Brewers leadoff hitter, and it's outside ball 3. Jake Arrieta was a freight train yesterday once again. He just finished off the greatest second half in the history of baseball. His earned run average was that good. No one's ever been better in the second half of a season. And as a matter of fact, he, from August 1st to the end of the season, which was his last start last night, his earned run average 0.41. So he's primed and ready to enter into the postseason as the wild card pitcher.
Yeah, last 3 starts for Arrieta this year did not allow an earned run.
He went 6 shutout innings last night, won his 22nd ball game beat Ariel Pena. The Brewers lost the game 6-1. Chris Davis represented the only run. There's a little flare into left field. That's Coughlin out there tonight for Joe Madden. And out number 1.
Yeah, the rest of the Cubs defense brought to you by Menards. You already saw Chris Coughlin. You got Dexter Fowler in center field. Kyle Schwarber in right. You got Bryant, Russell, Castro, and Rizzo from third to first. David Ross gets the start behind home plate. It was Miguel Montero last night. Montero gets tonight off.
Rizzo has been a star. Maybe in another season, a non-Bryce Harper season, Rizzo might have a chance to win an MVP. He's put up great numbers. Rizzo is sitting on 99 runs batted in. He's hit 31 homers. Drove in 3 of those last night and hit a home run last night.
It might be the best first baseman in the National League as well. I mean, he can pick it. You've seen him make a number of very good plays.
Hard to believe he's bounced from 3 different organizations, but he is one of the stars of the league at this point. Cubs have a few of them. Segura into the seats down the right field line. Gene batting second tonight for Craig Counsell. Seen him in the leadoff spot. He's hit down in the order 6th or 7th. The 2 spot is where he thrived the most. His first full season with the Brewers, the year he made the All-Star team in 2013. He was hitting behind Braun most days that year.
About the only guy right now playing every single day. He had an off day on the last road trip, but for the most part, he has been in the lineup every single day. Craig Counsell needs him out there for the solid defense and has been swinging the bat pretty well.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Segura. In the air, left field, hit well. Coughlin's on the run, and he's got it for the out. Coughlin able to run it down. Takes an extra base hit away from Gene Segura. Good catch.
Yeah, waited back nicely on that breaking pitch from Hendricks. Hit it well, but right as Coughlin got to the warning track, able to haul it in.
He made the last part of that look easy because the first part of that was outstanding. Great jump. He was on a line right to where he thought it was going to come down, and he's right on the money.
Pretty good in the outfield, and he's not bad in the infield either. I mean, you can play him just about anywhere.
Same goes for a lot of these Cubs. 2 outs for Adam Lind. Lind with 20 homers this season. He's sitting on 87 runs batted in. He's had a good year. Got an OPS over 820. He's been getting on base regularly. The most important stat for Adam Lind this year is the games played statistic. This is game number 148 for him. So he's going to come up just shy of 150, but that's a big number for Lind, who's had back problems the last few years with the Toronto Blue Jays.
It's always been a question mark for him, being able to stay on the field, and it was a big concern in spring training. He didn't play first base for a while in spring, and I think the Brewers were a little bit concerned if he was going to be able to stay out there. Well, he's answered that question. He's only had to miss a couple of games because of that back.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Adam. Now, Lynn credits the Brewers athletic training staff, and they've certainly put in their work and helped him through the process.
Yeah, it takes him a while to get ready. A lot of treatment before and after the game.
2-2, and that misses up and away. Yeah, the days are long gone when you just show up and can throw a few balls around and get ready to play. Adam Lind, it's an entire afternoon, a process to be able to find his way in the lineup. A lot of physical therapy to ease up the tension on that back.
Yeah, back in the old days, you strap on the ankle weights and you get a couple of cups of coffee and you go get them.
That's right, man. Yeah, maybe a couple of aspirin.
A couple of sinkers, some donuts.
There's a swing and a miss. And a 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Hendricks. We're off and running at Miller Park. Brewers Cubs tonight on a Saturday night.
The Cubs, and the evaluation process continues for Craig Counsell as he evaluates the rookie pitchers finishing the series here this season. And Tyler Wagner, just like Ariel Pena last night, Counsell stressed, we've learned that really we're going to need to rely on our young pitchers. He said we're not going to rely on just 12. He said really we're going to need more than 20, he feels, to get through a major league season. So he says just like Pena last night for Tyler Wagner, it's showing us that you can get outs here at the major league level. And he said it's about competition. They're not going to assign any roles that will continue over into the offseason, but he said that's really going to elevate in spring training. There's going to be competition across the mound, all over the field. So it's about showing these guys now, using that time to show what they have.
Yeah, that's a really important piece to the puzzle moving forward, is how the Brewers work all their young pitchers, because a lot of their young group, other than Jimmy Nelson and Willie Peralta, these guys haven't been in the big leagues that long, and even those two haven't been in the big leagues that long. But they are more of a sure thing, as Castro with a little flare, Jeanette with a running catch. Scooter out in the grass to make the play. Good speed there to take a hit away from Castro. But the point Sophia's making is a good one, Rock, because you don't figure the 5 guys you start the season with going to be in that rotation the entire season. So you almost have to build a bit of a taxi squad. Everybody does, but I think more so for the Brewers next year.
You know, Craig Counsell has said over and over again, this is a good opportunity for these young guys, not just to show what they can do, but to understand this year what adjustments they have to make to be successful at this level. Not just pitchers, but position players as well. It's been a good experience, and why not do it? You don't have a whole lot to play for other than to give these young guys an opportunity to test, dip their toe into the big league water.
And finish the season off with that 6th month, that final month, as Wagner went through the entire postseason with the AA Biloxi Ball Club. And Tyler pitched well in the postseason as well. Had a great year in the Southern League at AA. So this is it's a big jump for him. He was one of the 12 to make his major league debut this season for Milwaukee.
And I think the guy that exemplifies what we're talking about, regarding that extra month, that September, was Taylor Youngman. I mean, he was dynamite up until September, an area where he's never pitched before. His season's normally over. He hit the wall. I mean, I don't know if it was a physical wall or a mental wall, but things were completely different for him once September came around.
There's a strike to Chris Coghlan.
And the Brewers are hoping that, what he has learned, and hopefully he's going to learn something from this year, it won't happen again next year.
Get out of this year what you can. Brewers aren't where they want to be with the record and in the standings, but make the best of it. And to make the best of what you have right now, you give a lot of young guys a chance in the big leagues to get through this first wave. Everybody goes through their troubles at some point when they start a major league career. Some players never get out of it. Most. There's a liner in the left center, base hit. Coghlan's going to send one to the wall, and that'll be a double. Now he's on his way to third. The throw to third is off the mark. Coghlan very aggressive. Once he saw Chris Davis pick up that baseball, he was all systems go, and he's going to end up at third with a triple.
There is no taking it easy with this Cubs ball club. I mean, these guys are hustling. They're taking extra bases. They believe that this season's not over yet for them. They want to have a good feeling going into the postseason, whether it's at Wrigley Field or at PNC Park. Chris Coghlan, that's a short double, taking advantage of the throwing arm from Chris Davis.
That snaps an 0 for 17 for Coghlan with that triple, 1-out triple.
Then you have other guys that are trying to make that postseason roster. I think Coghlan might be one of those guys.
So here is Addison Russell now with a runner at third. Counsell is going to bring his infield in a spot like this. Russell, the 21-year-old shortstop, took over those everyday duties for Starlin Castro in the middle of the summer, supplanting the longtime starter and an all-star shortstop in Castro. Well, he has done a great job. He's hit too. Has hits in 6 of his last 11 at bats. 13 homers, 53 driven in. And that's a base hit. That'll drive in a run. Cubs score. The Coughlin triple pays off for him, and Addison Russell gives Chicago the early lead tonight.
Yeah, good approach by Russell. Didn't try and pull it. That was a cutter that got a little bit too much of the plate. It was a 2-0 pitch. Able to just guide it on into right field, so the Cubs take an early lead. The control has to be impeccable for Tyler Wagner. He cannot get too much of the plate. Doesn't throw hard enough.
Here's David Ross with one out. At the pitcher spot due up next. Wagner first got called up on May 31st. As a matter of fact, he started the 17-inning game against Arizona, that Memorial Day game that Martin Maldonado won with a walk-off home run in the 17th inning. Wagner was the starter that day, and then was shipped back to the minor leagues. Spent the rest of the season at the AA level, and then he came back up when the Biloxi season ended midway through September. But he's a good one. The Brewers are very high on him. He had a great year in AA, so he took on that higher level and ended up as the ERA champ in his league. That was close. Russell just back.
Yep, he will steal a base. You got to keep him close, especially as you get to the bottom of this Cubs order. Craig Counsell might want to take a look at it. Is that what the delay is here?
I think he wants to see if the tag got on Russell over at first base. Jerry Narron is on the phone to the clubhouse, and yeah, Craig Counsell, they feel like they have some evidence here to possibly overturn this call. And so Angel Hernandez, the first base umpire, and Ted Barrett, the crew chief, will jump on the headsets, and we will find out from the replay center in New York.
There's a quick feed. You can see how late Russell was to get back. Perfect on the bag, and I think it's going to be pretty close, huh?
Lynn clearly tags him on the shoulder. Is the hand on the bag prior to that?
Well, everybody looking up at the scoreboard. They haven't shown a replay of the play on the scoreboard yet.
They're just building the drama at this point, I think.
That's not the scoreboard. That's our screen.
That's right. Now they run a replay on the scoreboard, and
I think they might get him. I think they might reverse this call. Adam Lynn had it right in the end of the glove. Now you wonder if they're going to be looking at it. Does he have full control of it? I think he does. Throws a good one. There's your tag, and I don't think that Russell is back yet.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But this one could go either way. Is there clear and convincing evidence? That's the framework they use to try to keep things as uniform as possible. Now, baseball uses 3 descriptions on a replay. They have the ruling of overturned, the word overturned. They have stands, the play stands, and they have the play is confirmed. And when you hear language that states the play stands, that means whatever the call was on the field, there's not enough evidence to overturn that call. So that's going to be in that category, this particular play here. We'll see if they feel like they have enough. Hands on the headsets usually tell you a call's coming. Safe. So not enough there, I would imagine, to overturn that call. And the Brewers lose their challenge for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's the risk you take. It was close. They could have overturned it. Not enough there.
So we'll set it up here with a runner at first. The count is 0-1 on David Ross.
That's one of those things. It's a tough call. You know, you got one out, you man at first, you got the bottom of the order coming up, 8 and 9 due up, and you just let it go or try to get the out. You know, Brewers lost the gamble. It took 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
Ross in the right, long run. Peterson, he's got it in foul territory for out number 2.
Hey, it's the Brewers and Cubs tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Remember, that's 2 o'clock, not the usual 1 o'clock start. And all fans at Miller Park to see the Brew Crew for the final home game of the season. That's 2015 season. They will get a free Brewers retro knit cap. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com today. I guess I didn't need to say final home game.
Final game.
Or home game of the season, because it is it.
That's all it. All wraps up. There's Kyle Hendricks and a high fly ball into left center. Davis is there to make the catch to end the inning. Brewers lose a challenge. Cubs get a run on an RBI from Russell. Wisconsin is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham, 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business. Cubs lead 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Yeah, you're on TV. Yep. Keep waving. Don't stop waving. Okay, now we're going to take the camera off you. Here's Chris Davis to start the second inning. Well, Davis plated the only run of the game last night, and it was a monster home run, 441 feet.
Kind of average for him, isn't it? I mean, the way he hits them. Not a big guy, but he has much power as anybody.
Got out of here in a hurry. Or as they say, that ball got real small, real fast.
Yeah.
27 home runs now for Davis. He has hit 20 since August 6th, that date we talked about. But you made a good point, Rock, about Davis. He needs to be in the lineup every day to produce, to hit like he is. But the only thing that would keep him from being in the lineup every day is his defense. And it's not that he's a bad outfielder by any stretch as he takes a called strike 3. He actually runs balls down and takes good angles. He does not throw the ball well.
And late in the game, you know, Craig Counsell's, you know, takes him out for defense, and those are at bats that he's losing out on. He's tried to improve that throwing arm. He went to a pitching camp last year, tried to work on his mechanics. It's the only thing left for Davis. Got to get that throwing arm a little bit better.
Domingo Santana hits after Davis. Yeah, and you wonder, well, how often does it come up with a left fielder? How often is there a play at the plate or a play on the bases? That's part of it, but it's also the general philosophy of the opposition. I think that Chris Coghlan play, that is a perfect example of how teams are taking liberties at times. Coghlan was not going to third base until he saw Davis pick the ball up. Had Santana picked it up, Coghlan would have stayed at second for a double. But Davis picked it up and he took off. He made it to third base, and then he scores on a little single into right field. So one thing leads to another, and there's not really another position for Davis to play. So improvement is really the only way out of that box.
And the only thing you can do to try and equalize that is play a little bit more shallow. But Davis doesn't really like to play shallow. You don't have to have a super big arm to play left field. No team really has a guy out there in left field that has that right fielder's type arm, but you got to have an average arm at least.
There's a strikeout for Hendricks. Santana goes down.
Good breaking pitch.
Hendricks has 3 consecutive strikeouts. 2 outs here in the second inning.
Yep, fastball, curveball, and changeup for Hendricks. Been able to locate all 3 of his pitches pretty well so far.
Shane Peterson with 2 away. One of 3 lefties in Counsell's lineup tonight. Peterson hit his 2nd home run of the year in San Diego, and he hit one over the center field fence, which you don't see very often in San Diego.
He's starting to get a little bit more playing time again. He was playing a lot there for a while, but then Santana came around and he found himself on the bench quite a bit. It's one of the big differences between Chris Davis and Peterson. Peterson can be productive for you, playing maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Comes off the bench, does a pretty good job.
And Kyle Hendricks strikes out the side, his 4th straight K. Single by Addison Russell in the 2nd. Here we go to the 3rd. And Tyler Wagner back on the mound. We're pleased to be joined now by Brewers owner Mark Atanasio, sitting down there next to his wife Debbie. And Mark, welcome back to Miller Park. It feels like fall. The Brewers are enduring a very difficult season, but here we are with the second to last game of the year. Where do you stand? Not with the way things have gone, because I know where you stand with that, but the prospects moving forward, the hope for this organization.
Well, you know, Brian, I was saying to some of the reporters on the field that as bad as this season feels, and we all know how bad it feels, that I feel good that the organization started taking steps, you know, back to May when we made the manager change to get Craig Counsell in. And actually, since that point, we've been making, you know, many forward steps. There's steps that aren't reflected in our win-loss record right now, but forward steps nonetheless. So, you know, with Craig and David Stearns now in as our GM, and the draft choices that Ray Montgomery made in, you know, June in the amateur draft, and then the trades that Doug Melvin made, I think we've accomplished a lot in terms of starting to build a foundation on which to move forward, but the house isn't out of the ground yet.
Mark, tell us what about David Stearns you liked, and what prompted you to offer him the GM job here?
Well, Rock, we had a very exhaustive process which we went through that he came through with flying colors. But, you know, maybe to shift gears, what I like most about what I see right now is that David's a really good listener, and he's spent a lot of time in one-on-one meetings. In fact, I understand tomorrow he's going to be meeting with Jonathan Lucroy. He's getting to know the organization firsthand. And, you know, for a young, smart, aggressive guy to take his first steps by listening and not talking, that's showing me a lot.
What steps do you take, or what is the process going to be for you and David and the rest of the organization to evaluate what is going on this year and how you hope to move forward going into 2016?
Well, right now he's just in a fact-finding phase, and we're letting him. I was talking to Craig Counsell about this before the game. David's probably looking at the tip of the iceberg right now in terms of trying to get his arms around and everything. So it's going to take a couple months for him to do that, and once he does that, he'll start to formulate a plan. He'll get input from various constituencies here, and I'm going to, you know, one of the benefits you get when you make any kind of a management change like this, I see it in business a lot, is you get a set of fresh eyes. And so it's important to let those fresh eyes take their own hard look at things and form conclusions rather than trying to, you know, persuade them of something one way or another. So I think we're all going to be patient in letting David find his way and tell us what he sees.
Mark, one of the things David told us in San Diego, his first visit on our broadcast earlier in the week, he talked about building from the ground up a certain way that he wants to accomplish building or rebuilding the organization. I know you probably sync up with all of that. We hear that a lot from general managers, but specifically, where do you think the Brewers will be building? Will there be more international scouting? Is the player development? I mean, where can fans kind of sink their teeth into where some changes might happen, or where you see buildup coming in the near future?
Well, the two things David told us in the interview process was he wanted to collect as much information from as many sources as he could, and he didn't want to leave any stone unturned. So, you know, I would expect us to take again, a fresh look at what we're doing internationally, and fresh look at player development, and also, frankly, there may be, you know, there may be some pockets of opportunity for us either in the trading market or, you know, dare I say, at some point in the free agent market. I know everybody. The common mantra right now is that we have to just get as many young players as we can, but that's not to say that you can't also find. If we're looking at over a 5-year period, you can't find a free agent or two that could help you as well. I think David does not want to close his mind to anything, and that's a good way to start.
Well, the baseball front is the most significant part of it, but how about the business side of things, Mark? What's the year been like on the business front with the organization and all the various things that you're involved with Debbie and Rick Schlesinger and the business operations of the club? Where do we stand with that right now?
Well, you know, God bless the Brewers fans. And while we have more than a share of Cubs fans here tonight, if you pan through the stadium, even in a season as difficult as this, we're going to draw over 2.5 million fans, which is really, you know, just outstanding. And so the fan support always makes the business side easier. Here comes some food here.
Nice.
Some cotton candy.
It's always good.
Got some cotton candy. What's better than baseball and cotton candy?
Chris Bryant into center field, and that'll be run down by Santana. Well, Mark,
the only better than baseball and cotton candy is having a Cubs home run die in center field.
nice. You get the nice service right down there. That's not just for the owner, though. That's for everybody. The great experience of Miller Park.
Yeah, great fan experience, everybody. Come out tomorrow and enjoy the last game.
Good catching up with you, Mark.
Good to be with you guys.
Mark Adonasio, Brewers owner, with his wife Debbie, and we're headed for the bottom of the third. Nothing on an Addison Russell RBI single in the second. And Kyle Hendricks has struck out 4 consecutive batters. He's retired the first 6 he's faced. Hernan Perez will lead off for Milwaukee. Nice to catch up with Mark Adonasio. I know he likes to come to Milwaukee and watch the game, sit in his seats with his family, but we always appreciate him throwing a headset on for us down there and giving us a few minutes. And he's a very competitive guy, and I know things didn't go the way he wanted them to this year, but when you're in a down season, you try to make the most out of what you can, and the Brewers, as he mentioned, did a really good job resetting their minor league system. And of course, changes at the manager and general manager level, which is a regime change to the max. There's another strikeout for Hendricks. That's 5 straight now.
As much as the Brewers did a pretty good job in retooling and taking advantage of the opportunity to look at some of these young players, you know that this season really burned him up this year. He was expecting a lot more out of this organization. Didn't happen, but as you mentioned, they made the most of it. They did what they had to do.
I like what he said earlier, and it's the first time I've heard it from Mark, as you see Maldonado step in. First time I've heard it in my time here, and he talked about hovering in that 500 zone is a dangerous place to be, because you're not really able to push through and win a World Series, make it to the playoffs. You're kind of teetering in that level, and then you're also, because of the second wild card especially, as Bryant makes a nice play for the second out, first non-strikeout in the last 5 batters. But you're also, you know, if you're 500 and you hit the trade deadline, you're still kind of in it. You know, the Texas Rangers have secured a playoff berth. They were closer to last place than they were first place at the trade deadline. So it doesn't allow you the chance to rebuild your organization. The Brewers minor league system was starting to drift down into the bottom third and probably more like the bottom 5 in the National League. And so now they're a top 10 minor league franchise now because of the prospects they've been able to acquire. So you have to endure a season like this. Nobody knows that more than Cubs fans. They had to endure a couple of those seasons. You don't get a Chris Bryant unless you lose 100 games, which is exactly what happened to the Cubs a few years back.
And the Brewers had to pull the trigger when they did, because those same deals, the players that they got at the trading deadline, probably would not have happened in the offseason. You get teams that are desperate to add pieces to the puzzle to get to the playoffs, and they're more willing to part with guys that they would prefer not to give up.
I've never, as Hendricks strikes out Wagner on 4 pitches and 6 punch outs. He's gone through the batting order once, 9 up, 9 down. Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Cubs lead 1-0. Here's a good look at the Milwaukee Braves on a roll here at Miller Park. Always a cool place to stand and hang out and do some reading. Talk on your cell phone. Hey, October means baseball. Say hi to Renee.
Renee just took off.
What happened to that? She just left.
I don't know. We were going to say nice things about it.
October means baseball, Rock, and FS1 continues to be your home for postseason action with the American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama and history, and it all begins October 8th on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Don't you wish sometimes you could do that when the camera's on us? Take off.
They do that right now.
Yeah.
She is in the Stage Manager Hall of Fame, Renee Hoffman.
Charter member.
Now she won't come around for a while. Anthony Rizzo fouls one. I need to give her this card back, but I can't find her.
Here, I'll give it to her. You want me to give it to her?
I can't seem to locate her.
There you go. Oh, there you go.
She
is. Center field camera. Renee, good job again this year.
She's the best.
Renee's been working with me in the booth here at County Stadium in Miller Park 19 years.
And she's lived to tell about it. Oh, the book she could write.
I'm telling you. That'd be a good one, too.
She's also a fine dental hygienist as well, by the way. That's a real job. Rizzo takes a ball high.
She's been through Vescursion, Sutton, and Anderson. With a few sprinkled in there as well. You know, Kishan and you know, Matt LePay and Lenny Casper.
Who's here with the Cubs tonight? Len Casper. Rizzo bangs one through the shift. That was the lone infielder the Brewers had over there, Perez. And Anthony Rizzo is on with a single.
Hit that one hard. I mean, Perez didn't have to go that far, but he hit it so hard he couldn't get over there in time. Some kind of hitter, Anthony Rizzo.
And so a man on to start this 4th inning. 1-0 Cubs. Hendricks has been the story so far. The Cubs pitcher has retired 9 straight with 6 strikeouts in his first 3 innings. Here's Starlin Castro on the ground. Chance to turn it here. Segura, Jeanette to Adam Lind in time. Double play.
And he likes that first pitch, doesn't he, Starlin Castro, even if it's not a strike. That was a good cut fastball from Wagner to get him out in front. And got the double play. One thing you don't want to do to a first pitch fastball hitter, obviously, throw him a fastball. He's a good cutter.
So 2 outs, 1 swing of the bat. And here is Chris Coghlan now. Now you'll have to bear with us or enjoy with us the next couple of days as we sprinkle in our terrific crew that do such a great job each and every night. They're all passionate Brewers fans. And we enjoy coming to the ballpark each and every day. And Renee Hoffman is the queen bee, and Mike Faulkner, our statistician, also one of the best in the business at what he does. We have a lot of laughs. Great professionals at what they do, and our great camera operators and audio technicians.
Yep, home away from home here at Miller Park. Always good to see him after a long road trip. Smiling faces. We come in all grumpy.
Not hardly. We're a joy to work with, aren't we?
Get in at 3 o'clock in the morning, get to the ballpark. Everybody all fired up around the ballpark.
Hey.
The team's back.
2 balls and a strike on Coghlan. And a swing and a miss, 2-2. Tonight's game being produced by Brad Weimer, the big dog, we call him. Mark Vittorio is the director, our lead director this year. Brent Reland also produces Brewers games, does Brewers live pre and post for this series. And he's swinging a little dying liner. That's going to fall for a hit. Davis makes a play. Coghlan's not stopping. He's on his way to second to throw off the mark.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about right there, taking liberties on the throwing arm. And one thing, if you don't have a strong arm, you better be accurate with it. That was a little bit off the mark. Had it been on the money, I think Coghlan, it might have been close at second base. Never really slowed down. He cut the bag real close. I think if it throws on the money, would be interesting play at second base.
I've seen base runners dare Chris Davis, but not to the extent that Coghlan has in his last 2 trips around the bags. Most players, even knowing Davis's scouting report, because he does throw the ball okay sometimes on line, and so he'll get it to a cutoff man, but twice Coghlan has taken an extra base, and it led to a run in the second inning.
That's a big deal. You're right. I mean, twice. You know, instead of a man at first and 2 outs, you got Coghlan in scoring position. And not to pick on Davis. I mean, you know, around baseball there are outfielders that the Brewers take advantage of as well. I mean, you don't hide anything. There's no secret if you don't have a big arm out in the outfield.
1-0 count to Russell, and a swing and a miss way out in front of it. Well, if you think about Tyler Wagner as a marathon runner, you could say this, that he's competing in a marathon, but he's never ran more than 20 miles before, so he's trying to give you that 26-mile finish right now after a long season, and that's just part of the growing process. But I think the most important thing is Wagner's getting this out of the way now. It will completely affect his off-season training. And you ask the question, well, why don't they do that prior to getting to the big leagues? They just don't have to. Minor league pitchers they're not asked to go that extra month, which means a lot. There's a huge difference.
When you think about the 3 starts that he's made, you know, Arizona, a very good hitting ball club, the Cardinals, and now the Cubs. So it's not like he's facing some of the bottom dwellers in the league. Facing some pretty good competition, guys that know how to hit.
Yeah, whatever happens here tonight, certainly whatever happens in the big leagues, it's not going to knock his standing in the system down at all. He was one of the elite pitchers the Brewers had in their minor league system this season. Has a career earned run average in the minor leagues under 3. And his combined ERA this year was 2.25. He was an 11-game winner. If the Brewers were in a pennant race, Wagner probably wouldn't be in the big leagues at this point. He'd probably have another year in AAA, and that still might be the case, but he has the opportunity now to take an off season. Now he's got his big league debut under his belt, and then get ready for spring training. Jobs are open. 2-2 to Russell. In the dirt, Maldonado blocks it.
I would imagine being a little bit careful here with Russell. Not sure why they don't just put him on. Got David Ross on deck. Not nearly as big an offensive threat as Addison Russell.
And a wave and a miss. He goes after him with a breaking ball, and Russell strikes out, stranding a runner at second. 1-0 Cubs. Here come the Brewers.
And tonight's time of the game winner, Roadhouse Pub and Grill in Necedah. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to an April or May 2016 home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Kyle Hendricks is the story so far in this one. The Cubs have a lead 1-0, but Hendricks has gone 9 up, 9 down with 6 punch-outs. Finally back to the top of the order. Jeanette not wasting any time, and he grounds out to short. 10 in a row for Hendricks. Cubs are pretty well set at the top of their rotation, with Arrieta, of course, as the #1, who's got a chance to win a Cy Young Award this year. And then John Lester. But Joe Madden has decisions to make on who his 3 and 4 will be if they make it into the NLDS. If they make it into the division series, that'll be against St. Louis, and that'll be a best-of-5 series, and it figures you're going to need 4 starters. Most teams use 4, and so who gets those 2 spots. Hendricks is trying to cement that place with a good effort here today. Ground ball back to the mound. 3 pitches, and Hendricks has 2 outs here in the 4th inning.
Making it look easy. I mean, he hasn't really thrown much. Over 89 miles an hour. Getting ahead in the count. A lot of different off-speed pitches, and as the Brewers either behind it or out in front.
So Adam Lind. It's always a tough spot to be in if you're a hitter and the first 2 guys in front of you have seen 3 pitches. It's pretty much a bet Lind's going to have to take 1, maybe 2 here. And Hendricks being an Ivy Leaguer, I'm sure he knows that. Right down the middle with a strike.
Yep, 87 with some movement on it. Not throwing hard at all. Commanding pretty well.
And Lind in the air. Back is the shortstop, Russell, and he's got it. And that's a 5-pitch inning for Kyle Hendricks. 12 up, 12 down. Cubs lead 1-0. Miller Park on a Saturday night. And our Carsoup.com trivia prior to last season, or prior to this season, I should say. When was the last time 3 division teams won at least 94 games in a season? We'll give you a multiple choice there. 1969, 77, or 2007. So that's what it looks like in the Central Division, with the Cardinals the only team to win 100 in baseball. You got the Pirates, 97 wins, and the Cubs have 95 victories. It has been a very impressive season in the Central Division, but rosters are built with that in mind. All of these managers, all of these general managers in this division knew how tough it was going to be, even going back to last season. And 2 years ago, there were 3 teams in the postseason from the Central: the Reds, the Pirates, and the Cardinals. So this is nothing new in the National League Central.
Which is going to make it even more difficult for the Brewers to get back to competitive baseball, because the Brewers play those 3 teams, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Chicago, over 60 times throughout the year. Makes it a little bit more difficult.
I know what's interesting about the Cubs, they're in 3rd place in the division, so they're most likely going to be the road wild card team. They still have a chance to host that game, but odds are against them. They would be 5 games ahead in the National League West, leading that division. They would also be leading the East in the National League by 6 games. And yet Jake Arrieta and the Cubs are 3rd fiddle, not even 2nd fiddle.
Top 3 records in the National League on the Central. Matter of fact, the top 3 records in all of baseball in the Central.
That's right. Yep, the Cubs would have a division lead in every other division but the one they're in. They'd have a 2-game lead in the AL East and the AL Central.
And had it not been for that second wild card, they wouldn't even make the playoffs. Hang with them, right?
Mm-hmm. Full count to David Ross, and that misses high and inside, ball 4.
Hey, Brewers on Deck 2016 is Sunday, January 31st at the Wisconsin Center in downtown Milwaukee. If you purchase tickets by December 1st, you'll receive a free ticket voucher good for select 2016 April home games. For details, go to brewers.com/on-deck. Be here before you know it.
Just a little over 3 months away, right? Hendricks trying to bunt Ross to second base.
I'd prefer to say just a little under 4 months.
All right. Either way. Will you be joining us at the On Deck this year, or is that fantasy camp?
I'll be on my way to fantasy camp. Yep.
Brewers fantasy camp. I mean, that's a tough decision. Not for you, because you have to be there. But you know, Brewers On Deck versus fantasy camp. You could potentially do both with a waiver, couldn't you?
Some of the coaches do.
Right.
Augie.
But you've got way too much work.
Jim Gantner.
To do both.
I got to make sure everything's set up.
Right.
You know, I got to get there a couple of days early.
Got to get the ice and the charcoal.
Ice and ice down the beer.
I mean, you're the advanced prep guy. Like a big giant elf. Oh, Maldonado put the tag on him, and Segura forgot to tag the runner. Maldonado put the tag on the batter runner, which left the runner at second wide open, but Segura not knowing that.
Yeah, well, you can't really blame him. I mean, he really wasn't. He was busting it over to the bag to make the play at second base. Now watch Maldonado. He busts out there quickly. There's your tag. He's out at home plate, and Segura thinks he's got to turn a double play. So runner's safe. Ross is safe at second base. It's one of those where you really can't fault Segura. Just barely touched him on the arm.
Yeah, I don't even think he was trying to tag him. He was just trying to make the play on the ball. Because he certainly had a double play the other way, the 2-6-3 double play. At any rate, it will work like a sacrifice for Hendricks.
Because if he made an effort to actually tag him, maybe on the back, Segura would have seen that.
Right, you're right. That's just a bad break.
Yeah, you can't do much about that. So it'll go down as a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. And the put out 2-3.
One of the worst you've seen.
Or put out 2 to 6-3, I guess. Or 2 unassisted.
2 unassisted. 2 unassisted.
The double play would have been 2-6-3.
Right. 2 unassisted, and Hendricks bunts that ball about 2 inches.
It was such a bad bunt, it turned out good for the Cubs. 1 man out, 0-2 to Fowler. Ground ball right back to Wagner. He booted it, though. Here's Segura now, got to hurry, and the throw is not in time. Close play at first. And I'm not sure if Lind was able to keep a foot on the bag or not. It was an awkward catch for Adam Lind.
I'm not sure why he went down. I don't know. Maybe to get down to be able to field that throw. Segura has something on it here. He gets it out of the glove on its way to first base. I think he's out.
Yeah, he's out.
I think he's out. But the Brewers don't have a review.
Oh, man.
That's the problem.
They've already used the challenge.
He's out. Angel Hernandez kicks it. He misses it. The Brewers lost their challenge early in the game.
All right, so Fowler reaches on an infield hit. And here's Kyle Schwarber now. First and third, 1 man out. Boy, Wagner should be out of this inning.
I mean, that was a pretty easy call at first base, too. I mean, Angel Hernandez has to be better than that.
Wagner probably kicking himself that he missed it as well, the ground ball. Because if Wagner makes the play on that grounder, He's going to have Ross in a rundown between second and third.
See, now there's an example of where you can get the arguments back in baseball right now. No challenge. You don't have a challenge. I mean, Craig Counsell could very well go out there and, you know, get into a little bit of a ruckus with Angel Hernandez. So there is an opportunity for arguments in baseball.
Counsell let it go by, though. He's been in the replay habit of not arguing.
Yeah, the replay has declawed a lot of managers.
That's a good way to put it. That's a tough one. 3-0 is the count on Schwarber.
I guess it doesn't much matter. He's not going to change his call anyway, right?
Swing and a miss. Schwarber had the green light. He was trying to hit one back to Chicago. Well, Wagner's been getting some ground balls. He could use one here. Fowler has good speed at first base. 3-1, and he missed outside. Ball 4, and now Wagner is stepping into the deep waters. Bases loaded with Chris Bryant coming up.
And Bryant stuck on 99 RBIs and a golden opportunity to get to the century mark. Wagner's got to pull a rabbit out of his hat here. Needs a double play ball. When you go back to that bunt, you know, the bad break for the Brewers allowing Ross to get to second base would have been another out. Inning would have been over. Or at least there would be 2 outs. And then the missed call at first base.
The 23-year-old Bryant, likely the rookie of the year in the National League, against his old amateur teammate down on the travel ball days, Tyler Wagner. Bases loaded, 1 away, with Rizzo on deck. In this magical season for Bryant, he has 26 home runs. 2 of those were grand slams. Wagner desperate for a ground ball here. One and one to count.
These situations, it's always good to be able to pull the trigger a little bit, take a little bit off. You know the hitter's anxious to get a fastball, and Wagner did a good job getting Bryant out in front on that first swing.
Now, Wagner was a closer in college at Utah. He's going to have to act like a closer here. Try to minimize the damage or get out of this inning. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a swing and a miss.
Change up.
Yeah, good one too. Bryant was way out in front of it. 1-2 now.
And just take a little off. You see the grip, and Bryant over the top of it.
The odds of playing amateur travel ball together and then ending up together in the big leagues.
I'll try and get cute with a fastball up here. Throw another one of those changeups down.
That's exactly what he did, and Bryant strikes out. Tyler Wagner, the less is more approach for the second out.
Well, you knew you got a young hitter, albeit a very good hitter. Changeup on a 1-2 pitch, and Bryant trying to hit the home run with the bases loaded. Punches out. That's a good job by Tyler Wagner, and a good job by Maldonado dropping it down right away.
Chris Bryant now leads the National League in strikeouts. The 197th time he has struck out this year. That was a big one for Wagner. Now 2 outs, and Rizzo coming up. Rizzo singled his last time up. And he's sitting on 99 runs batted in. He's staying with it, isn't he?
Hadn't thrown a fastball since the bases were loaded.
Rizzo, like Bryant, also 2 grand slams this season. He's been at his best with the bases loaded. How many changeups in a row will he throw?
Till they hit it.
I'm in. 0-1. Bases full of Cubs. A little chopper foul. Nothing but off speed from Wagner. 2 walks and an infield hit. It's been a couple of misplays. Bad luck really for the Brewers, especially on that bunt. And Wagner fighting to get through this 5th inning. 0-2 the count. And a foul ball, another changeup. Or it looked like a sinker. It was 88 miles an hour. It's hard to figure what it is because it's got that downward action on it.
Yeah, changeups and curveballs to Anthony Rizzo in this at bat. That last one was a cutter.
That's the hardest one he's thrown. His fastball sit 91, 92 mile an hour range. See what he has in mind here. No balls, 2 strikes. And another changeup, fouled off. Well, he's putting him in a good spot.
And he just keeps hacking at him and fouling him off. Fouling off some good pitches, waiting for a mistake. That's what good hitters do. No fastballs here. Just one cutter, that 3rd pitch.
It's not just the kitchen sink he's throwing up there. It's one of those big industrial size at the big restaurants. He's pulling up all of the off speed. 0-2 pitch. It's another one. Another change.
Always good to have a catcher back there that will do that for you. Block pitches in the dirt. This is where you need them. You're ahead in the count. You don't need to throw strikes.
Do you dare throw a fastball? That's the question.
I'd keep throwing the changeup. That's been his best pitch so far tonight.
If you're Rizzo, don't you have to be looking for an off-speed pitch? You've seen nothing but. Timeout asked for. And given.
Even if he's looking for it and he puts it where he's been throwing them, he's not going to do much with it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And down the left field line, going to slice foul.
See, that was up. That one was up. Up and away. Rizzo got a pretty good swing at it. Now these are learning experiences right here for Tyler Wagner. You talk about, what you get out of September for the Brewers. Tyler Wagner has learned a lot right now in this inning.
That cluster of pitches on our Fox tractor, everything down in the zone. The knees are below. 1-2 again. Rizzo pulls it on the ground right to Lind. Wagner's there and he'll get out of it. How about the rookie? Tyler Wagner gets Bryant and Rizzo, and the Cubs strand the bases loaded. Getting through the two best hitters for the Cubs. Now Davis will lead off, and he has been the best of the bunch on the Powerball home run count. Davis with 27 home runs on the year. Rogers has one of the most memorable home runs of the season, that home run to win the game, the grand slam in St. Louis. And Davis takes ball one from Hendricks. Brewers are still looking for their first base runner. Hendricks with 4 perfect innings. 12 up, 12 down with 6 strikeouts.
A long layoff between innings for Kyle Hendricks. You know, Cubs were up there for a while, but didn't put any runs on the board. See how that affects them, that long inning.
Kyle Hendricks got his economics degree from Dartmouth in 2013 after he'd already entered into the professional ranks. He was at the AAA level at that time. As a scholar, felt it was important to go back and get his degree. Three-two pitch. Davis fouls it away.
Might not have the greatest stuff in the world out there, but he could probably outthink you, right?
Yep, and the book on him is, and the word about him is that he pours through the scouting reports. He can digest high volumes of information, and he remembers hitters and tendencies and specific counts.
And kind of understand quickly what he needs and what can be useful to him in a particular start. Some guys get overwhelmed with that stuff. That's what the pitching coaches are for, to sift through all that. Give pitchers and catchers what they feel like they need to know.
3-2 pitch. Davis fouls it back. Well, a lot of pitchers would prefer to face a guy for the first time. And the more at-bats that a hitter gets against a pitcher always gets a little skittish on that fact, because the pitcher feels like this guy's starting to see me, starting to see what I have. That's why pitching in the division can be much tougher. But Hendricks is on the other side of that. He feels like he gets better and would prefer to face batters multiple times. So that kind of gives you an idea that he believes his scouting reports and his tracking of tendencies can outdo his opponent on that particular
Which means
at-bat.
he's quicker at making adjustments than the hitters are.
In his own mind. And it's working out well tonight for him as Davis grounds to second. And that's 13 in a row retired for Hendricks. Well, it is now time for you to tweet us your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag WisDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. One away for Domingo Santana. Hendricks on the attack here. He struck out Santana in the second inning. And Domingo on 3 pitches. A called strike 3 to end it. And the 7th strikeout, 2 outs in the 5th inning.
And 3 of those strikeouts are called strike 3s. That's that fastball right on the outside corner. David Ross makes it look good to the home plate umpire. Carving up that outside corner is Kyle Hendricks.
Now Shane Peterson. A strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Peterson, who struck out in the second inning. Had him out in front.
Change up, boy.
It's a good one.
He is all over the outside corner, both the right-handers and left-handers.
25-year-old Kyle Hendricks. 32nd start of the year. He's been out there every time out for Joe Madden this year. He's been in that regular rotation.
Pitching with a purpose to try and get into that starting rotation, if they should get that far.
3-2 pitch. Peterson fouls it away. Hendricks had a nice year last year. The Cubs got him from the Texas Rangers, part of the Ryan Dempster deal back in 2012. Rangers were in a pennant race. Cubs were not, so they traded Dempster to Texas. And a young Hendricks at the time, who had just been in the pro game just 1 year. Ground ball, right there is Addison Russell. 1-2-3 inning again. 15 up, 15 down for the 25-year-old Kyle Hendricks. Wisconsin is presented by your Metro Milwaukee Honda dealers. Roof is closed on a Saturday night on a cool windy night in Milwaukee. And the Cubs and the Brewers are moving to the 6th inning now. Tyler Wagner worth another look here. He struck out Bryant with the bases loaded, then got Rizzo on a ground ball to first to end the inning. Our Columbia St. Mary's worth another look.
Out of zeros up there for Kyle Hendricks.
Lots of ways to a winning performance. Right now Hendricks and the Cubs have a lead. Hendricks is perfect through 5. But Wagner has been able to get out of a couple of jams. Did give up a run in the second. Addison Russell with an RBI single with 1 out. Starlin Castro into center field. Playable for Santana for the first out. Chris Coughlin coming up. He's in our AT&T Uverse Rewind, and not just the hitting rock, but the base running for Coughlin.
Yeah, really taking advantage of Chris Davis' throwing arm out there in left field. First inning, I should say second inning, a 1-out triple on what was going to be normally a double, and doing the same thing right down the line. Coughlin never slowing around first base. Throw off the mark, and he's in with a double. So a triple and a double for Coughlin tonight. Worth another look.
Yeah, picking on Chris Davis in this one. The first one led to that run. He was at third base for Russell's single. That was with 1 out. The Brewers brought their infield in a little, not all the way in, but enough to try to cut off a run at the plate. Coughlin to center field. That ball is hit hard. Santana will play this one. Coughlin with a big turn. So he has a triple, a double, and a single tonight.
Oh, was he 0 for 17?
Coming into play tonight, he was.
Yeah, 3 hits. 0 for 17, 3 hits, now 3 for 20. Doesn't sound so bad, does it?
It's a good way to look at it. Let the math work in your favor.
That's the way it's the game of baseball, game of averages.
That'll get Addison Russell to the plate. He's been up there with a man on every time, hitting behind Coughlin. Russell drove in his 54th run of the season. He's giving them a lot of production from the shortstop position. And he swings at the first pitch. Right to Santana. And out number 2 for Wagner. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Don't forget to use the hashtag WisDataStrongFan. And it's all brought to you by T-Mobile, and it comes to us from Natalie. Hanging out with Bob Uecker, at least the statue of Bob Uecker. Must be in the front row. All the way in the back row. Thank you, Natalie. One more T-Mobile fan photo of the season.
Have you been up there yet?
I have not.
The Uecker seat up there?
I think about going up there tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Go up there tomorrow. Check it out. They swing and a miss.
I was up there for the unveiling.
Is that right?
Pretty good hike up there, buddy.
Did you have a golf cart, or what? How'd you, how do you end up in the terrace level when you're a man of your stature?
Take the ramp like everybody else.
Throw to first, and Coughlin's back. Take the ramp.
See, I'm not, see, you and I, that's where we differ, You're kind of the golf cart guy.
Okay.
Town car.
Right.
I'm the ramp, taxi.
Fans only knew.
That's where I am. Oh, they do know.
They think they know.
See, they know better
Even
than
all
that.
the way up there?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
What's it like up there?
It's high. But not a bad seat in the house.
Heck no. There's a pillar in front of that seat. That's one of the reasons why they put the statue there.
Yeah, Ueck was sitting right next to the statue, but I couldn't tell the difference.
Ueck went up there.
Yeah. The unveiling. Took the ramp like the rest of us.
Oh, he did. Okay. Wow. You sure you're not made out of wood?
No, they have elevators. You know that.
Yeah, elevators and a team of
then you march up the stairs.
Golf cart convoys.
You get up there. Let's you and I go tomorrow.
All right. We should do the Open from there tomorrow. Last game of the season. 3 balls and a strike on David Ross, and a swing and a ground ball right to Segura. He'll go across. That will end the inning. And Tyler Wagner is pitching well. He's walking the tightrope. But that was a nice clean inning for him. And he's got 6 in the books. Hendricks is the story right now. 5 perfect innings for him, 15 up, 15 down. And Rocky's done it with a variety of off-speed pitches. Take a look at our Honda game summary.
I don't even think he's hit 90 miles an hour. He has been wearing out that outside corner to both right-handers and left-handers. The changeup's been very good and really hasn't fallen behind the count too often tonight. Brewers have not had a base runner through 5 innings.
Strikeouts, groundouts, flyouts. Well balanced, but a lot more strikeouts than you would expect from Kyle Hendricks, not thought of as a strikeout pitcher. Hernan Perez leads off for the Brewers. Hendricks is coming off his season high in strikeouts, 9 against the Kansas City Royals his last time out. Went 6 shutout innings in that game against the division champs, reigning American League champion Royals. It's also a career high for him. He's got a chance to break that tonight. We have 2 no-hitters going right now. Max Scherzer is spinning a no-hitter in the 6th. There's a liner to third. Bryant makes a catch. 16 in a row for Hendricks.
Yeah, one of the few hard hit balls for the Brewers tonight. Now, Perez hits it hard, but right at Bryant.
Well, there has only been 1 no-hitter in this ballpark, and it was by a Cub. Carlos Zambrano did it against the Houston Astros. Astros were actually the home team that year. Zambrano pitched a no-hitter at Miller Park. Houston was displaced because of the hurricane. Hurricane Ike, I believe it was. And they had home games here. And Zambrano threw a no-hitter. And that one is up the middle and a base hit.
Enough of that nonsense.
So the Brewers finally get a hit on the board. Martin Maldonado breaks it up. 5 1/3.
Yeah, left that one up out over the plate right down the middle, and Martin able to pound it into center field. Enough of that. Now get to winning the ball game. Yep. Outer half of the plate up in the zone, and Maldonado breaks it up.
And Craig Counsell is going to go to his bench right here. Jonathan Lucroy will bat for Tyler Wagner. So Wagner's season is over.
That's a good start.
Absolutely. 6 innings, 1 run against the hard-hitting Chicago Cubs.
Scattered 7 hits. Cubs left 7 base runners on in 6 innings.
Well, he just finished off a great year. Good for him. In a year that he dominated Double-A and earned a spot on a big league roster. Goal accomplished for Tyler Wagner this season. Well, we'll see if Lucroy can give him a chance at a victory. Lucroy up there with Maldonado at first, the 2 catchers for the Brewers.
I think about their final starts with some of these young pitchers for the Brewers. Zach Davies had a very good start. Ariel Pena last night. And now with Tyler Wagner, something to feel good about in the offseason.
We see Jorge Lopez next to Wagner. He'll get the start tomorrow. He was so good in his major league debut. The Brewers want to see him one more time.
He got a win in his debut. San Diego.
A strike to Lucroy. 0-2 the count. Lopez was given the award for the minor league pitcher of the year prior to the game here today. His Double-A manager Carlos Subero is here. He's up tomorrow for the finale. Looking forward to watching him pitch again. One ball, 2 strikes. Hendricks just giving up a hit, the first of the night for the Brewers on a Maldonado single. Lucroy pinch hitting.
That one got David Ross right on the shoulder. He didn't even flinch. Just picked it up, threw it back.
He actually enjoys it. He's been around a long time, David Ross.
Don't rub it.
I was with him in the minor leagues in the Dodgers system. He was coming up. He had some roadblocks in front of him, though. Guys like Paul LaDuca.
Yeah.
And even Paul Konerko at one point, who was a catcher in the Dodgers system before they moved him to first.
Hey, he's a terrific catcher, David Ross. Personal catcher of John Lester.
And apparently Kyle Hendricks now. As he works him through 5 1/3 no-hit innings. Two balls, 2 strikes. And Lucroy launches one, but foul. Had the right flight, just hooked it a little bit.
Just couldn't wait back enough.
Cubs have relievers loosening up. Could be close to the end for Hendricks. They certainly want to keep him sharp for the postseason if they should advance into the DS.
Hendricks leads off the 7th.
2 balls, 2 strikes now. Lucroy with Maldonado at first, and down he goes. Hendricks stayed away with an off-speed pitch, and Lucroy is strikeout victim number 8.
They went back to it. Yeah, same pitch that Lucroy fouled off. Changeup. This one down, out over the plate, in the dirt.
Hendricks has the ability to make his changeup move both ways. He can sink it, like what we saw Wagner do a lot tonight, or he can cut it a little bit. It's a cut change.
Yeah.
That's rare. Jeanette on the ground to Rizzo. And that will do it for the Brewers. Well, they do break up the perfect game, but it's still a shutout, and it's 1-0 Cubs.
And in our Crew in the Community tonight, Major League Baseball annually bestows the Roberto Clemente Award, presented by Chevrolet, to the player who best represents the game of baseball through sportsmanship, community involvement, and positive contributions, both on and off the field. A player from each club was nominated, and the Brewers nominee is Jonathan Lucroy. Fan voting and a special selection committee determined the national winner announced at the World Series. So to vote for Luke as the Roberto Clemente Award winner, please visit ChevyBaseball.com.
All right, Sophia, thanks. A deserving candidate, Jonathan Lucroy. New pitcher for the Brewers is Will Smith. He'll take over here in the 7th inning. 1-0 Cubs. And a tightly pitched game. Tyler Wagner against Kyle Hendricks. Both starters are out now. Hendricks with 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 8 strikeouts. And his last 2 starts of the season, he goes 12 scoreless and only 3 hits allowed. to the Royals and the Brewers.
Yeah, he's on top of his game right now. Will Smith has had some time off. It's been almost a week. Pitched on Sunday against the Cardinals at Busch Stadium, 2/3 of an inning, couple of hits, gave up a run, but it was an unearned run that included a strikeout. 75 appearances for Will.
He's got Jorge Soler leading off. Soler pinch hitting for Hendricks. Some question whether Soler is going to make the postseason roster. He's likely to make the wild card game roster. You don't need all your starting pitchers in that game. You probably keep 2 back just in case something happens to Arrieta. If the Cubs do advance and they go into the division series, that's when your 25-man roster is a little more traditional, and Soler is right on the bubble.
Yeah, with Arrieta, you only might need your closer. That's it. Maybe not even him. Go to the wild card game with 3 pitchers. The way he's been throwing.
Or you could just be really, really gutsy and just take him.
Just take him. The rest of them position players.
1 pitcher and 24 position
there
players.
You go.
Might be all you need.
Don't put any pressure on him.
Soler draws the walk in a pinch hit appearance. So Smith puts a man on. Cubs have had a ton of base runners tonight. They have stranded 7, left the bases loaded in the 5th. They've had at least a man on in every inning with the exception of the 3rd. Top of the order, the switch hitter Dexter Fowler. And Maldonado out for a quick chat.
I'm not sure Will's upset about that last call. Pretty close on the outside corner. Notice he'll be upset about something. Maldonado did the right thing, going out, calming him down.
Let's see, where was it? Fox Tracks had it off the plate.
Yeah, inch. Maybe.
There's a strike. That one finds the corner. Max Scherzer has taken his no-hitter against the Mets through 7 now. He has 12 strikeouts and 7 no-hit innings.
Almost got the Brewers here at Miller Park.
Yes, he did. That might be his best game of the year, even though he threw a no-hitter for the Nationals this year. But his one-hit effort at Miller Park was more dominant as far as strikeouts and swings and misses. Two-1. Smith walking Soler, 3-1 on Fowler, and that's ball 4. Back-to-back walks, and Adam Hamari.
Yeah, he was, Will Smith said something. Hamari made a motion, and Craig Counsell just wants to make sure everything's okay between the 2 of them. It's the 2nd time that Will Smith has been unhappy with the strike zone. I tell you, I'd never seen it before, but Craig Counsell and Rick Kranitz popped out of that dugout in a flash, both at the same time.
Well, I felt like Kranitz was coming out anyway, but Counsell saw Hamari yelling at Will Smith. I think he was on his way out to try to save him from getting kicked out.
Yeah, Will said something first.
And now Hamari's coming out, and let's keep an eye on Rick Kranitz here. He's probably got something to say to Hamari. Kranitz is a former Cubs employee, was their pitching coach, was their pitching coordinator at one point, and Hamari let him say his piece.
I'll tell you, Hamari handled that nicely. He really did. He handled it well.
There are a lot of umpires in the big leagues that would have ejected him, would have stirred it up.
Yep.
But he let him walk. 2 on, nobody out. And the batter is Austin Jackson, pinch hitting. And there's a strike called. Jackson hitting for Schwarber. So a little 5-inning tune-up for Kyle Schwarber tonight. It's probably going to end up being a platoon in the postseason for the Cubs with Jackson and Schwarber. I would imagine, again, if the Cubs advance out of the wild card game, they'll have the Cardinals, and when Jaime Garcia is on the mound for St. Louis, this is going to be the guy that plays right field, I would imagine. Schwarber would not start against a lefty, I don't think.
Well, you never know with Joe Madden.
But that's the asterisk. And Jackson, slow roller. Perez gloves it. Nice play. And Jackson is retired. First out of the inning, but both runners advance. Second and third with 1 away now. Well, tonight, be sure to catch Fox Sports Live on FS1. Complete highlights and analysis of everything that happened in Major League Baseball, plus the latest from the NFL, world of college football as well. Fox Sports Live tonight on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Second and third, 1 away for Chris Bryant, and another wave and a miss.
Another opportunity for Bryant, this time second and third, 1 out.
Had the bases loaded in the 5th inning and struck out.
197 punch outs for Chris Bryant. It's a lot. I guess you can stomach the strikeouts when you get 26 homers and 100 RBIs. Chris Davis with the Baltimore Orioles, 206 strikeouts. Strikeouts aren't what they used to be. You didn't want to really strike out 100 times back in the old days. That was considered to be kind of, you don't want to do that. That's kind of a shameful thing. Guys didn't want to strike out. Not a big deal these days.
I mean, too bad you couldn't play in this era. This is a golden era for a Bill Schroeder.
I'd have been right there. Big old smile on my face with all those punch outs.
Hitting bombs.
Of course, I don't think I'd have the 26 homers.
I don't know. I mean, the deep analytics may work in your favor. Big slugger like you. They're just swing and a miss.
I'm like Chris Davis, so I got to play every day.
That's right.
And that wasn't going to happen.
I'll hit 25 homers, but I got to play every day.
Strike out 300 times. I agree with you, KD. I couldn't convince my manager to put me in there every day.
I like his stance, though.
Not the way he did. He kind of convinced Counsell.
2 balls, 2 strikes, infield in, and Bryant swings and misses. Down he goes. Another strikeout with men on base. 2 outs in the inning now for Will Smith.
A good curveball, and Will Smith gets his man. That's actually slider, and Bryant over the top of it. Now, Chris Bryant has left a lot of runners on base. 5 of them in his last 2 at bats.
So here is Rizzo with a base open at first, but a lefty-lefty matchup. But a guy who destroys left-handed pitching and who has homered off Will Smith this year. Rizzo hits .296 against lefties and has 6 of his 31 homers against lefties. If you walk him, that's okay. But he's got to beat you on your pitch if you're Will Smith. Right?
Then you got Castro coming up. Throw those sliders. I wouldn't mess around too much with fastballs in. That's where he likes it. That's why he stands right on top of home plate.
High fly ball, left field, playable for Davis. And the Brewers are going to get out of another mess. Cubs strand 2 more. They've left 9. 1-0 Chicago. Stretch time here at Miller Park. Big Brewers fan season ticket holders right there. Is that a spatula she had?
Yeah.
I think it was. Carsoup.com trivia question. Prior to this season, when was the last time 3 division teams won at least 94 games in a season? And that would be 1977. Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox. And long before division play, only the Yankees made it to the postseason.
Yeah, that's the way it was back then. A bunch of hang with them's back in those days when they have a good season.
Yeah, you win 97 and don't make it at all. Cubs they've got a chance to win 97, but they know they're going. Jackson will take over in right field. Pedro Strop is on the mound for the Cubs in the 7th.
Yeah, Strop, a hard thrower, a good slider, 76 appearances now, including tonight, and a 296 earned run average. Look at the strikeouts, 80 punch-outs in 67 innings.
Gene Segura leads off.
They've got some gas in that bullpen, do the Chicago Cubs. They got some big arms.
Justin Grimm and Strop, Fernando Rodney,
Rondon,
and Rondon, their closer. Strop from the Rangers to the Orioles to the Chicago Cubs. He zips it in there, 94.
Got that funky delivery that can mess you up a little bit. And it hitches that arm behind his back and then lets her fly. Throwing strikes has been his issue, but he's thrown a few more strikes this year.
A little quick release there on Segura, trying to catch him off guard. Pedro Strop. Oh, a nasty slider. That was a great look at it. I tell you. I don't know how anybody hits big league stuff, but when he's throwing a slider there, hitters don't have a chance, and Segura strikes out for the first out of the inning.
Yep, slider like that with a fastball over 95 miles an hour. Yeah, it's tough. This guy's very talented. I talked to a lot of hitters, you know, that played back in my day. They said it would be miserable to try and hit these guys. I mean, not just because of the velocity that they throw, but you might face 3 or 4 different pitchers throughout the course of a game. Certainly 3. I mean, you might really can't get it, you know, geared in on a certain pitcher.
There's Adam Lynn.
That was back in the days when we had 5 starters and 5 relievers. You didn't see guys come in for 1 batter and leave. Just didn't happen.
Yeah, you chase the starter You chased a starter and you had a great chance to win that game. You got him out in the 5th, 6th inning. These days, you get a starter out 4th, 5th inning, and if the game's still close, even if you're trailing, now you're going to start to see just waves of velocity for the most part. Pretty much every team has it.
Guys coming in for, maybe 2-3 hitters, maybe an inning, and then they're out. You can throw as hard as you want when you do that. You can just let it go.
2-0 pitch and a swing and a miss. 2-1 the count.
Throwing harder than they ever have.
Stroh's been around a long time. He's 30 years of age. He's been in the big league circle since '09. It is interesting, though. He has one postseason berth in his career. That was as a member of the Orioles back in 2012. Pitched in 2 games, didn't allow a run that year in the American League Division Series. Orioles played the Yankees that season. The Yankees won that series in 5.
Pretty good sized chain around that neck, huh? See the size of that thing? That might be one of the biggest we've seen.
Keeps you balanced.
I'm sure that's not fake gold either. What do you figure, 10 grand wrapped around his neck?
I don't know. I haven't been necklace shopping in a while.
I'm guessing.
It's a ground ball right to Rizzo. Stroh with his necklace there to make the play for the out.
Yeah.
Didn't slow him down a bit.
I don't think that's gold plated.
It's not leaving green stains on your shirt.
Yeah, I might be going down on a limb, but.
Got something to read?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I was just fixated on that necklace. Hey, Brewers season seat holders enjoy the best seats at the lowest prices, plus a number of exclusive benefits not available to the general public. To place a deposit on a 2016 ticket plan and guarantee the best seating location for 2016. Visit Brewers.com/season seats. I am distracted by flashy objects.
Is that right?
You've seen me up here for how many years?
I have.
Get
9.
distracted easily.
Very easily. Did you say something? 2 outs. Here is Chris Davis. And a ground ball to short. Russell gobbles it up. And a 3-up, 3-down inning for Pedro Stroh. Bling, bling. By your Metro Milwaukee Honda dealers. And we are headed to the 8th inning now. 1-0 is our score. Brewers have a new pitcher on the mound, Jeremy Jeffress.
Well, good job by Will Smith to get out of the mess. He walked the first 2 batters, able to get out of it. Will Smith Last pitched on Tuesday in San Diego, tossed 2 scoreless innings. That included a couple of strikeouts. 72 appearances for Jeremy, and probably putting together his finest season in the big leagues. A .269 earned run average. Almost as many strikeouts as innings pitched. 64 punch-outs in 67 innings.
After Will Smith worked around a couple of walks in the 7th, worked a scoreless inning. Now it's Jeffress. He'll face Chris Coghlan. Coghlan due up second, and he's the guy to keep your eye on in this inning because he is a home run away from the cycle. Starlin Castro will lead off, 0 for 3. And a first pitch swinger whenever given the opportunity. We got to send out a big thank you to Barb and Dave Wentworth from Wales. That's beautiful country out there.
Yeah.
Wales. Barb and Dave hooked up the crew today with a homemade apple pie.
Huge one.
Hand-picked apples from Door County.
Had all our names on it, on the crust. Took a lot of effort.
That's a nice pie, Rock.
Didn't last long.
No. Long gone. Long-time season ticket holders.
Actually, the first time the guys from the radio side actually were in this TV booth.
Really? I missed that.
Plates in hand.
That's usually frowned upon. There's a strike. Starlin Castro 2-1.
Yep, good. Thank you so much for that pie.
The Wentworths.
Nice dessert before the game.
I noticed that you went to the Twitter to give them some thank yous. You can see a picture of that pie at Brewers Fan Camp.
Right. Nice pie.
Did you tweet that yourself, or did you have your minions do that?
I did that.
Okay.
I tweeted that, and you remember in San Diego, I tweeted out the Blue Angels.
Yes, you did that one too.
I finally learned how to tweet out a picture.
Okay. Good for you. It's been a nice year then. What about Periscope? We ready to go there yet?
I don't know what that is.
It's going to be big next year for you, I promise. Got an off-season plan for you. That one misses. Castro draws the walk. And here comes Chris Coghlan now. Looks like Madden's going to make a move here with Castro. He's going to bring on a pinch runner. Quentin Berry will run. So the Cubs lead 1-0, have a lead runner on. Cubs have stranded 9 today, and here is Chris Coghlan. Mark Grace had the last cycle for the Cubs. That was back in '93, May of '93 against the Padres. There have been 4 cycles this year. Brock Holt of the Red Sox, Shin Soo Choo of the Rangers, Adrian Beltre of the Rangers, and Matt Kemp of the Padres. Those are the 4 players to have hit for the cycle this season. Bunched in there from June to August. Coghlan is a home run away from that. Jeffress would just rather have him hit one on the ground and turn up a double play here. Those are the Miller Park cycles. Aaron Hill had one in Milwaukee. He had 2 that year. As a matter of fact, Aaron Hill had 2 in 11 days. Second one came here at Miller Park a few years ago. Chad Moeller, the only Brewer to do it at Miller Park. Throw to first.
Do you find it at all interesting that Joe Maddon's taking out some of his starters? I'm taking out Castro. Barry's in. Cincinnati's beating Pittsburgh right now. So Cincinnati wins the next 2 games and the Cubs win 2. It's a dead heat in the wild card.
And the Cubs own the tiebreaker, so the game would be played at Wrigley.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe Maddon, I'm looking at the moves he's made today. None of the moves he's making today are moves you would make just to get playing time for someone.
Right.
A lot of the moves are what you would see if the Cubs have a lead.
Yeah, Jackson for Schwarber maybe. I don't think he takes Castro out, does he?
No, when he's got a lead late, he usually takes Castro out for Baez.
Okay.
Throw to first.
1-0, not much of a lead.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I can understand maybe 4-run lead, then you start throwing your defense out there.
I think that's probably where Joe Maddon feels like the strength of his ball club is. It's not the fact that he has depth, and he has as much as any team in the postseason, but his depth, his bench players all contribute offensively for the most part.
Yep.
One ball, one strike. And the runner goes. Maldonado's throw is into center field. Allen sailed on him.
Well, he had him beat. He had him too.
Berry up and on his way to third base. And that's why Berry has been on postseason rosters, because he can bring that speed element. He broke his belt on the slide at second.
And Maldonado has him if he makes a good throw. That's not even close. The arm drops and ball into center field, and Berry into third base with nobody out. And Brewers are going to be forced to bring the infield in. And knew it right away. That one got away from him.
So Berry is awaiting a belt. Maybe they'll let him play without one. There's one.
Boz doesn't need his.
I don't think Boz is fitting Quentin Berry. May go around him twice.
You can put it back on, Chris.
There's no chance he's wearing a belt right now, by the way. 2-1 to Coghlan. And a swing and a miss. 2-2. Seriously, there's no chance Boz has a belt on.
Yeah, I'm going to text him tonight and tell him.
I don't even think he's got a jersey on, to be honest with you.
What a job he's done this year, huh?
He has. Great pitching coach. Deserves a lot of credit. He's one of the great guys in the game, too. We love him.
Turned Arrieta around. He's helped.
Jeffress needs a strikeout here. Infield end, 2-2 pitch. Pulls it foul in the Sophia Minard lounge. She's okay.
Behind Woody.
Here.
Just stay behind Woody, Sophia.
Woody always looks out for me. That's why he's the best.
There's Woody. Keith Wood, the legend. Two-two the count. Coghlan hanging tough. And a strike call. Jeffress, a little stare down and a strike three. And Coghlan is out. First out of the inning. Jeffress needed that one.
He wasn't looking on the inside corner, and he buried that pitch on the corner. Coghlan wasn't expecting it in there. That's a nice pitch right after a curveball. And it looks like Jeffress got the benefit of a call.
One away. Still a runner at third. Infield still in. Well, Max Scherzer has done it. He has thrown a second no-hitter. 17 strikeouts.
Boy. Amazing.
No-hitter against the division champion Mets.
17 punch outs, had 9 in a row at one point. Some kind of year.
Now, Nolan Ryan was the last pitcher to have 2 no-hitters in the regular season in the same season, 1973. Roy Halladay did it in 2010, but his second no-hitter came in the postseason. And a perfect game in the regular season did Halladay. So Max Scherzer A 2-0 win, his 13th win. He'll finish with an ERA of 2.79 and 2 no-hitters this year. Dan Uggla hit a home run in that game. Squeeze is on.
Safety squeeze.
Bunted right through it. Cubs were out early today. They didn't take batting practice on the field. They had the cages set up. Joe Madden had them out bunting. The entire team. Mandatory. And they were dropping sacrifice bunts, squeeze bunts. They had base runners at third base.
Practicing leads and jumps, secondary leads. Reading bunts off the bat.
It's smart. And a swing and a miss. And Jeffress with some serious histrionics on the mound. Russell is out. 2 outs, 2 strikeouts. Have not seen this kind of celebration from Jeremy Jeffress.
Especially on the second out.
Oh, man. Whatever it takes, JJ, to get yourself pumped up. He's trying to get out of this inning. If he did that with 2 outs, what's he going to do if he gets Ross here?
I was just getting ready to say. He was pretty fired up on the first strikeout, and then the second one a little bit more. I hope he gets another one. I want to see what he does.
I've never seen him do that before. It's a new personality for him.
Yeah. Well, fatigue sets in. I mean, the season's gotten a little bit long for these guys in the bullpen. They have eaten up a lot of innings this year, and whatever it takes to get you going.
Frankie Rodriguez keeping an eye on things. David Ross with a runner at third and a bender in there for a strike. Good pitch. It's just a bit interesting because Jeremy Jeffress is a pretty calm, chill guy.
Yeah, he really doesn't show much emotion out on the mound. Unusual for him.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shock.
Maybe looking for a good end to his season.
Yeah.
Maybe told that this is his last outing.
Good point.
Wants to finish on a strong note.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He's got a chance to get out of it. A leadoff walk. There was a steal and an error that allowed Barry to third. And Jeffress, with a runner at third, has struck out Coughlin and Russell. And he's got Ross 1 and 2. And he got him. Jeremy Jeffress digging up a new personality as he stomps off the mound. He strikes out the side after a leadoff walk. Strands a runner at third base. Kicking and snorting all the way to the dugout. Still 1-0.
only trailing 1-0 against Chicago in this game, but indeed they only have the one hit, and that came off the bat of Martin Maldonado as he broke up Hendricks' no-hitter, going actually perfect game going as well. But this came back in the 6th inning, Augie.
Yeah, and you look at the starting staff, what the Chicago starting staff, last 7 games, 45 in the 3rd innings, giving up just 1 earned run. They have done pitching the ball very well. You go into playoffs, you want your staff pitching well. The Cubs are doing very good.
Yeah, that ERA during that stretch, 0.20 for the Cubs. So they've lived up to the billing lately. Their pitching staff doing a great job down the pennant stretch here, and we'll give you playoff updates here from Craig Counsell. Plenty more coming up. Brewers Live post game. Brian.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig and Augie. There you see Javier Baez in the game at second base. Castro was pinch run 4. And Rock, the new pitcher, speaking of histrionics, is Fernando Rodney, the Cubs setup man now.
Yeah, he led the major leagues in saves last year with Seattle Mariners with 48 saves. And a little bit down season, a 5.68 ERA over in Seattle, but he's pitched well for the Cubs. They picked him up on the 27th of August.
For a player to be named later, or cash, or baseball equipment, depending on how he does. If he pitches well,
which he has,
helps him into the postseason, then they'll get a decent player out of it. Domingo Santana leads off.
He's given up only 1 earned run in 13 outings for the Cubs. That includes 2 wins and a blown save.
Well, Rodney is certainly familiar with his current manager, Joe Madden. Those two were together with the Tampa Bay Rays for a couple of seasons. Rodney was an all-star for Madden back in 2012. Swing and a miss. He's not doing it with the big fastball these days at 38 years of age. A lot of off-speed stuff.
That fastball, slider, change up. He's thrown a couple of good change ups to Santana in this at bat.
Fastball's in there at 96.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, Alex is reaching back for a little extra. And while in Tampa Bay, Rodney started you might remember when he was closing games there and going well. After a save, after the last out, he would pretend to fire an arrow into the sky. And then that became a whole thing. Then some of the players would come over, his teammates, and they would look up into the sky and track it. A lot of teams took exception to that.
Yeah. Where's that hat off to the side a little bit?
And the 3-2 misses, so Santana draws a walk, and the tying run is on. And now the Brewers maybe a swing away from taking the lead here. Don't forget, tomorrow is the finale, and the Brewers have their minor league pitcher of the year on the mound, Jorge Lopez. Got a win in his major league debut. He'll face Dan Herron. Miller Lite, what's on tap? Note the airtime, 1:30. First pitch is 2:10. That's an unusual start time. Normally Sunday games begin after 1. Tomorrow 2:10.
We'll see more changeups tomorrow.
Looking forward to watching Lopez pitch again. Just received the minor league pitcher of the year trophy before the game here at Miller Park. He and Orlando Arcia were the pitcher and player of the year in the minor league system.
And just picked up his first major league win.
Shane Peterson with a runner at first, nobody out.
Changeup's got a lot of movement on it. The fastball pretty straight. He's already hit 96 with the fastball. Changeup at about 83. That's a big differential.
And the thing about the crooked hat, it's not illegal It's not against the rules to wear your hat. Matter of fact, there are no rules on how to wear your hat.
You have to wear one.
You have to wear a hat, but you can wear it however you want.
It's up to the individual ball club to dictate that.
Peterson strikes out. Didn't like that call, but he's out, and the first out of the inning.
Yep, fastball down and away. Looks like it catches the edge, just barely getting a piece of the corner.
And Rodney with his first out, still a runner at first. Here comes Hernan Perez. A couple of former Tigers matching up. Rodney was long gone when Perez finally made it to the big leagues with Detroit. It's one thing the Cubs like about Rodney, though. He has closing experience. He has excelled in that role. Had a bad year this year. He did have 16 saves, but an earned run average at 5.6.
236 career saves. Mentioned led the major leagues in saves last year.
And Perez into left center. That's down for a base hit. Santana's on his way to third. Hernan Perez with a single, and the Brewers are knocking at the door here in the 8th. First and third with one away.
Never got it. Muscles it out there into center field off the end of the bat. Yeah, Rodney with that straight fastball. Perez gets enough of it, and Santana able to dig around to third base. So there's your tying run at third with one out.
Hernan Perez 1 for 3. And now Maldonado, who had the Brewers' first hit, which came in the 6th inning. Kyle Hendricks had 5 1/3 perfect innings. And a strike.
Well, knock one out of here. Well, Cub fans are fired up here at Miller Park. They're hoping to get a couple of wins over the weekend and see Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh, so they get a game at Wrigley Field for that wild card.
Reds have a 3-1 lead over the Pirates in the 8th inning right now. 1-0 Cubs. Maldonado half swing, checks it, says the base umpire. 1-1 the count. The Brewers up until this inning had just one base runner, that hit by Maldonado. They've got a walk and a single here in the 8th. First threat of the game for him. See if Maldonado can catch a mistake. Jason Rogers due next. One outside, 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, really no sense of urgency for Joe Madden in this game. Nobody loosening in that Cubs bullpen. Rodney's struggling. He's going to let it ride.
Wave and a miss. 2-2. He's staying with the off-speed pitch.
That's a heck of a changeup. Comes in at about 10 to 12 miles an hour slower than the fastball, with a lot of movement going down.
Big spot for the Brewers catcher. And Maldonado pulls one foul. Looked like Perez wanted to run there. He started then stopped at first base.
Well, you pick that changeup to run on. Pretty good chance you're going to make it. Question is, you're going to throw the fastball. If he throws a fastball, Ross has a pretty good chance of throwing him out.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Maldonado on the ground. Bryant makes the play. Throw to second, out. Throw to first is low, but dug out by Rizzo. What a double play that was. Anthony Rizzo showing his defensive game at first base. And a double play keeps a shutout intact. The Brewers go down in the 8th. 5-4-3 double play. Great pick by Rizzo. Presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Well, we're getting to the late innings now. We go to the 9th. Cubs lead 1-0. They scored their run in the 2nd on an Addison Russell RBI single. And it has held up. Brewers just had a chance with 1st and 3rd and 1 out, but a double play ended it. And now Counsell is going to use Francisco Rodriguez. Nothing to save him for. He can pitch today and tomorrow. And he's out there in a 1-0 game to try to hold the Cubs right where they are.
Yeah, picked up save number 38 on Tuesday against the Padres, and he pitched a 3-up 3-down inning, including a strikeout. 60 punch-outs for Frankie in 56 innings this year. It's been a terrific year for him. He's blown only 1 or 2 saves this year.
Tommy La Stella will pinch hit. He figures to be in the plans for the postseason for the Cubs. He has really swung the bat well. He's giving him a nice lift off the bench. He might even be in the lineup in that wild card game on Wednesday. And a big chopper out to Jeanette. Out number 1 for K-Rod.
It's going to be an error on Maldonado. Bat hit the glove.
Oh, you're right. Yep. So catcher's interference.
Second error on Maldi tonight. You don't see this very often. A left-handed batter up there. Maldonado reaching a little bit too much. You can see La Stella with the reaction saying, "I hit the glove," and that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Usually that happens with a right-hander at the plate. Very seldom do you see that with a lefty.
The glove side, right?
Yeah.
So here's Dexter Fowler. That's an error on Maldonado, but it's no at bat for La Stella if you like to keep the scorebook at home. Catcher's interference. Sometimes if you pour through the box score, you try to recreate a game through the box score. It's hard to. That's the one that will get you sometimes. Hard to figure that one. How does this guy reach? I don't see an error. I don't see a hit. I don't see an at bat. Now you know. Did you ever do that when you were growing up? The newspaper, get the box score and try to recreate, see if you could figure out how the game unfolded?
Yeah, the box score is a little bit more difficult to decipher back in those days, though.
No, not many columns, just 4 of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, no left on base. You don't have, now they have pitch counts for the pitchers and, time of game, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Pitches and strikes.
Pretty basic back in those days. I thought you were going to ask, did I ever have a hitter hit my glove? The answer was yes.
Yes. You experienced the game on the cool side of things, and I was talking about experiencing the game on the nerd side of things.
Right.
Forgive me, Ron. You are media now.
I know. You keep reminding me of that.
Thanks for dumbing it down for us. There's a call. Strike 3. Fowler is rung up. And Fowler is barking at Adam Hamari.
And Hamari giving it right back to him.
There's been a lot of complaining back and forth, but I'll say this for Adam Hamari, the strike zone has been good. I mean,
consistent
these
too.
pitches are.
That's on the plate.
He just called a pitch last inning with Rodney on the mound, the same spot. If it touches that line on the Fox box, it should be a strike, I think.
And Amari, steps out, timeout call. You see somebody running right at him. He's thinking he's going to be in the middle of an argument.
Going to be in a fight.
And there's a pinch runner going down to first base.
No need to flinch. It's okay. Matt Caesar, pinch running. Runner first, 1 away. And a shot back up the middle. Caesar jumping on the first pitch. First and second for the Cubs. Austin Jackson jumping on the first pitch.
That fastball, Rodriguez trying to get ahead in the count, and he bangs it right back through the middle. And check out the big turn by Caesar, and Santana's throw a little late. Well, Chris Bryant once again in a position to drive in a run. It's been that way the last 3 at-bats.
Officially, Chris Bryant has stranded 6 on tonight at the plate. Two on, 1 away. Cubs with a 1-0 lead. And Bryant a swing and a miss.
Oh, speed pitchers are getting him tonight.
Bryant just started that 5-4-3 double play to end the Brewers' threat in the 8th inning. One ball, 1 strike. Maldonado wants one high, and Bryant fouls it off. That Reds-Pirates game still in the bottom of the 8th. The Pirates have a man on with 2 outs. Reds lead at 3-1. Cubs are 2 games behind Pittsburgh. Cubs would have to win out. Pirates lose out today and tomorrow. And then the wild card game would be at Wrigley on Wednesday. Cubs loss or a Pirate win, and the wild card game will be at PNC Park in Pittsburgh for the 3rd straight year. Pirates won the first time in 2013, lost last year to Madison Bumgarner and the Giants. And they're going to draw Arrieta and the Cubs. They're going to draw the 2 best pitchers in the game back-to-back years.
Yeah, Bryant laying off that changeup this time, not biting on that pitch in the dirt.
And with Rizzo on deck, Bryant in a full count, 2 on, 1 out.
Throw it again.
This game's got a good feel to it, got some intensity. Brewers have their closer on the mound. 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed. He struck him out.
Do it again.
Bryant has stranded 8 runners on base in this one. Good call, partner.
Every pitch was a changeup to Chris Bryant in that at bat. He was able to lay off a couple of them when he was up in the count 1-2. Talking about K-Rod, the 3-2 changeup. He can't hold back this time. Can't help himself. 3-2 changeup, down and away, and he swings at it.
His 3rd strikeout of the game. K-Rod has 2 Ks in this inning. And now Anthony Rizzo. The only run came in the 2nd on an Addison Russell 1-out RBI single. He scored Coghlan from 3rd. Cubs have had base runners everywhere all night. But just the 1 run as K-Rod drops a little changeup in there for a strike. Bryant has left 8 on. Rizzo has left 6 on base tonight. Overall, the Cubs have stranded 10.
Trying to make it 12.
Looking ahead to the Brewers' 9th, they'll have a pinch hitter for the pitcher. Jason Rogers will most likely be the pinch hitter. And then the top of the order, Jeanette, followed by Segura. And K-Rod trying to get him to the plate, down a run. Ground ball right to Jeanette. And Frankie Rodriguez gets out of the inning. Goes through the big boys to do it once again. The Cubs have stranded 12. Last call for the Brewers. They're down 1-0. coming right down to the last frame. The Brewers trailing 1-0. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Jason Rogers will pinch hit. And Hector Rondon, the terrific Cubs closer, is on to try to save his 30th.
29 out of 33 is a very good earned run average at 170. Almost as many strikeouts as innings pitched. He's given up to 4 home runs. The Brewers are looking for a bloop and a blast. Not the other way around.
Yeah, blast and a bloop doesn't do much for you. Well, it gets you an extra inning.
Right.
Jason Rogers. He's had some pinch hit heroics this year. Most recently against the St. Louis Cardinals. Last Sunday, down 3-1, a grand slam off Trevor Rosenthal to give the Brewers the lead. They would actually get another homer in that inning from Chris Davis, and they scored 7 in the ninth. Rogers has been outstanding. He's hitting .271 as a pinch hitter, a couple of homers. He's hitting .442 over his last 52 at bats, but he's down in a hurry here. Rondon with the fastball up and away. Rogers is out, 1 gone for the Brewers in the ninth.
He's got the good fastball. He'll throw the split, a slider to go with it. And when he throws strikes, he's about as good as it gets.
Here's Scooter Gennett. Kyle Hendricks started this game for the Cubs. He had a perfect game going into the 6th inning before Maldonado singled with 1 out. Hendricks goes 6 shutout, 1 hit. And then Strop had a scoreless 7th. Rodney had runners at 1st and 3rd, but got a double play to make it a scoreless 8th, and now Rondon. Tyler Wagner started for the Brewers, pitched well, pitched out of a few jams, but gave up just 1 run in 6 innings. He's on the hook for the loss right now. The only run came in the 2nd. Addison Russell RBI single. Gennett is 0 for 3. Has occasional power. Has 6 home runs this year. Pull power is what it is. Just trying to get on. Got Segura coming up next. And he pulls that one on the ground right to Baez. 2 outs. Joe Madden put a shutdown on Rondon earlier this year in the middle of the summer just to give him a mental break from the closer's role. He wasn't really struggling in that role. He was giving up some base runners, but still getting saves. He just wasn't sharp. Madden took him out, didn't call it a demotion, called it a vacation.
A vacation.
And he's come back strong.
Yeah.
And if he is as good in the postseason as he was during the regular year, especially the second half, Cubs have a real shot this year. That's it. 1, 2, 3 inning for Rondon. The ball game is over, and the Cubs win 1-0. Hendricks the winner. Rondon saved number 30. Coughlin was a homer away from the cycle. 3 hits, and he scored the only run. Tough luck loss for Tyler Wagner. In an otherwise terrific season through the minor leagues and a few starts in the big leagues. Well, the Cubs are still alive. They've got a chance to host the wild card game at Wrigley. Trying to chase down the Pirates. Cubs win. They've won 2 in a row here, Craig. Let's set it up for Brewers Live. Craig standing by with Jerry Augustine.
Well, they continue to dominate this season series against Milwaukee. Boy, what a tough one today for the Brew Crew. We'll look over this one here for Craig Counsell. Plenty more on the way. Stay tuned for Brewers Live.